Good day, everyone. Now, today we'll be discussing sovereignty in the Philippines, the people as the foundation of a democratic and republican state. Ang pagbabasehan natin is the Section 1, Article 2 of 1987 Constitution, which states that the Philippines is a democratic and republican state. Sovereignty resides in the people and all government authority emanates from them. Section 1 of Article 2 of the Philippine Constitution establishes that the Philippines is a democratic and republican state where sovereignty resides in the people and all government authority emanates from them. This statement not only declares um, the form of government, but also places the people as the ultimate source of power. As a fundamental principle, it underscores the values of democracy, accountability, and public service, reflecting the importance of participatory governance and the centrality of the citizenry in the structure and operations of the government. Now, let's proceed to our first point in our discussion: democratic and republican state, meaning and implications. A democratic and republican state is one in which power and authority are derived from the people and exercised by the representatives elected by them. In the Philippine context, this manifests in the direct election of government officials and in the principles of transparency and accountability. Subpoint under this point number one. First, we have democratic principles. As a democracy, the Philippines emphasizes equality, freedom, and representation. Citizens are granted the right to vote, express opinions, and participate in public affairs, which underscores their role in decision making processes. Second point is the Republican ideals. A Republican state functions with the people as its core, rejecting any form of absolute power. Officials serve as representatives and are accountable to the people. This principle supports checks and balances within the government, ensuring that no branch hold the unchecked powers. Second point in our discussion is sovereignty of the people, its legal and practical dimensions. Sovereignty residing in the people means that the Filipino citizenry has the ultimate authority over the government's direction and policies. This concept is legally entrenched through mechanisms such as elections, constitutional provisions, and the protection of civil rights or civil liberties. Under this point, we have first the right to suffrage and elections. A people exercise sovereignty primarily through elections, enabling the people to choose leaders who best represent their interests. Now, this ensures that public officials are directly accountable to the electorate and can be removed through subsequent elections if they fail to meet public expectations. Example, regular national and local elections, as well as the recall process for local officials, empower citizens to hold their leaders accountable, thus reinforcing the principle of popular sovereignty. Second is accountability mechanisms. Sovereignty of the people is further upheld through mechanisms for accountability. such as impeachment, administrative sanctions, and the role of the ombudsman in investigating public officials. Example, the impeachment process of a sitting president or a vice president or chief justice allows elected representatives, the Congress, no, in an impeachment process. It is initiated in the House of Representatives, and then after deliberation, it will be the articles of impeachment will be sent to Senate, where the senators sit as jury in the impeachment court. No? So these elected representatives act in the people's interest, ensuring that high-ranking officials, meaning those who are impeachable officers, are not immune from removal due to misconduct, bawa betrayal of public trust or culpable violation of the Constitution. The third is public participation. Beyond voting, the people exercise sovereignty by engaging in public discourse, participating in policy making through consultations, and expressing opinions freely. Civil society organizations and advocacy groups also play a crucial role in representing marginalized voices. Kaya nga sa mga public consultations, in the legislative process, town hall meetings, and referenda on critical issues, these are all avenues where the people's voices can directly influence policy. The third point in our discussion is government authority emanating from the people. The principle that all government authority emanates from the people binds officials to a duty of transparency, integrity, and public service. This principle implies that officials are merely stewards, merely are mere stewards of the people's power and must exercise their duties for the public good. Under this point, we have number one, the principle of checks and balances. Since authority is derived from the people, it is distributed among the executive, legislative, and judicial branches to prevent abuse of power. Now, this separation of powers ensures that no single branch monopolizes authority and that each serves as a check on the others. Second is the legal frameworks and constitutional limits. The Constitution serves as the supreme law that binds government authority within limits set by the people. Any act that deviates from or abuses this authority can be challenged through judicial review, kung saan yung korte na magkakaroon ng kapangyarihan upang ipawalang bisa o ideklara na unconstitutional ang ginawa ng isang sangay ng gobyerno. Halimbawa, yung mga kasong dinadala doon sa dinudulog sa Supreme Court involving grave abuse of discretion, allow the judiciary to review executive and legislative actions, ensuring that public authority is exercised within constitutional limits, constitutional bounds. Third is transparency and public accountability. Since authority flows from the people, government officials are expected to be transparent about their actions and open to scrutiny. Yeah, I remember a previous president issued an executive order for freedom of information. Hopefully, we can have a legislation on freedom of information soon, because this allows citizens to access information regarding government transactions and decisions in the executive department, no? And it fosters a culture of accountability. Kasi yung mga citizens, they will be empowered to request information on government spending. and policies, enabling the public to monitor officials and ensure that they act in the people's interests. But of course, there are challenges in upholding sovereignty and public authority. The challenges in upholding these noble principles we are talking about now. While the constitutional principle is clear, there are challenges in ensuring that all government actions truly reflect the people's will. First, we have first challenge is political dynasties and oligarchies. Although sovereignty rests with the people, the influence of political families and oligarchies sometimes skews the democratic process, limiting choices and consolidating power within select groups. Second challenge is public apathy and disengagement. Sabi pa nga ni Plato, the price of apathy towards public affairs is to be ruled by evil men. In some instances, the people may feel disillusioned with the government, leading to lower voter turnout and disengagement from civic responsibilities. And if this happens, this will weaken the power of popular sovereignty. The third challenge we see is corruption and abuse of authority. Corruption among public officials, such as misuse of public funds, law of plunder, or abuse of office, challenges the principle of authority emanating from the people, as it undermines public trust and the effective use of public resources. So to conclude with, our noble aim is to strengthen sovereignty and democratic participation. The principle that the Philippines is a democratic and republican state where sovereignty resides in the people is central to the country's governance and constitutional framework. For this principle to be fully realized, ongoing efforts to strengthen democratic institutions, enhance public accountability, and promote civic engagement. These three are essential. Upholding these ideals requires that both the government and the people actively participate in shaping a responsive, accountable, and transparent state. As the foundation of Philippine democracy, the sovereignty of the people serves as a guiding force, reminding public servants that their power is not inherent but rather entrusted by the people they serve. Thank you very much. God bless you all.